Harp, in your opinion, is J.D. Davis the player we saw in 2019 or the player we saw in 2020?
Doug, I'd love to say I know for sure. I feel strongly about it, but he doesn't really have enough of a track record. I feel like you can say one way or another. I mean, he sure looked like a really good hitter in 2019. Had a great two-strike approach, took the ball the other way a lot. But then last year, it didn't look like the same guy. Hit a lot of balls on the ground. I know. Chili Davis today said he was late on a lot of pitches, which is interesting because that was the knock on him coming after the trade to the Mets from scouts, was that he didn't hit necessarily was going to be able to catch up with high velocity. That's one of the things that held him back in the minors for years. So we'll see. I mean, I still think there's a lot of good offense in that. He couldn't have done that by accident 2 years ago, but we'll see if pitchers caught up with him, and he's got to be able to make adjustments now.
To me, yes, J.D. Davis is, if you want to call it your everyday third baseman, you can. I would put him there more than anybody else. He would be at third base more than any other player on this team. And when I say that, I'm talking 120 games. And if he plays good defense, that jumps up to 140, 150, whatever he can handle to that point. So if he can do that, if he can play defensively very solid to above average, I'm putting him there as much as I possibly can because I believe in his bat.
Let's say mid-season, J.D. Davis is having issues defensively. He's not the hitter he was in 2019, and the Mets find themselves wanting a third baseman, somebody else to take over at the position. Is that guy on the roster already, or do they have to go elsewhere for that?
I think they have to make a deal, with all due respect to Guillorme and Villar, maybe if he could play third. I think they're going to have to, like they were trying to do in the offseason, get somebody in there to play the hot corner. And look, I love J.D. Davis. I love his attitude. The man can hit. But I do worry about the glove, and especially with ground ball pitchers like a Stroman and other starters, you need somebody who can play solid defense at third. And the last thing you want to do is see the Mets be caught up in slugfest because the infield defense isn't getting it done.
You can move McNeil over to third base. You can have Jonathan Villar play a little bit of second base. There are options that this team does have when you look at the flexibility of guys being able to play multiple positions. So that's a good thing where guys are not stepping. So when you look at what Davis is, we're all going to find out. So, I mean, maybe it's a little bit of a motivation tactic. The Mets clearly have had conversations, whether it be Chapman with the Athletics, Chris Bryant with the Chicago Cubs. At some point in time, Chicago is going to move Chris Bryant. So is that a conversation that you have closer to the MLB trade deadline? We'll find out. But Davis can hold off all of that by going out there and performing at third base, because he will get first crack.